Hey, happy Thursday. Fed is back in focus here this week. Very quickly moved to the front burner and pretty flat week so far after a last week where we saw quite a bit of a downward movement. So interesting time. It'd be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, Friday, and what's to come here as we move into a new week. My name is Brandon Steele, financial advisor with Mainsail Financial Group here in Bellevue. As always, our goal every week is just to bring you the market news and updates in kind of a quick summary version, weed out the stuff that doesn't matter, and hopefully only bring the stuff that you can kind of act on or implement as you kind of navigate this crazy world that we're in lately. I want to kind of jump right into things here. So last week, there was a lot of information coming out about the Fed talking about tapering. So we really want to pay close attention. Get ready. Tomorrow, we actually have Fed Chair Powell talking at Jackson Hole, although I think it's virtual, so I don't know how much we can say at Jackson Hole, but Fed Chair Powell is going to be talking, and again, with all the talks and other Fed members talking about tapering here lately, we really want to pay attention tomorrow. I want to really emphasize that as we move into Friday here. You know, it's really interesting. Like the Fed, it's like they're dangling a carrot in front of the markets. Like it seems like every time we think we're getting close to this carrot, it just kind of gets pulled further away. The Fed keeps pulling out this tapering carrot, so to speak. And, you know, the markets just keep running and running. You know, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Will the Fed start to give in and actually talk about tapering, or will they use the Delta variant and, you know, inflation concerns and maybe what's going on in Afghanistan as another reason to hold on yet again? So really pay attention. I think tomorrow, Friday, is going to be very interesting. Although this isn't the official Fed conference, he's going to hint probably at something or talk about what's going on as far as tapering to come. Going back a little bit, Monday, this week, we've had a lot of home sales data come out. So Monday, we had existing home sales come out, 5.99 million. And then Tuesday, we had new home sales come out at about 708,000. So it's just amazing. This housing market just keeps on ticking and ticking. So very interesting to see that, even with all the, you know, the inflation challenges we've been facing. And then today we had initial jobless claims come out. We had 353,000 was the number. So a little bit of a tick up from last week, but really, you know, almost irrelevant. Obviously not heading in the right direction, but it didn't get a whole lot worse. And so hopefully that's a trend to continue. And hopefully next week we start heading back down again here too. Really, this week there wasn't a whole lot to cover, and that's probably why we saw these markets so flat. You know, we saw a little bit of a pullback here today, especially as we moved into the end. But really, after last week's down week, we didn't see a whole lot of movement here so far this week on Thursday. I think a lot of people are preparing for what's to come tomorrow. So again, really pay attention tomorrow when Fed Chair Powell talks. Next week, we also have, tomorrow and into next week, we have a lot of data as well. We've got personal income, spending. Again, Fed Chair Powell talks tomorrow. And then we also start the big jobs data as we move into Wednesday next week. So get ready for the ADP employment numbers, get ready for the non-farms payrolls, which obviously are always a focus. So every month we really kind of focus on those pieces. And next week will be no different. We'll spend a lot of time talking about the jobs data as that comes out too. And I'd love to hear, again, the focus is really on Powell here. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know if you think that he is going to suggest some sort of tapering. Just to clarify, for those who aren't familiar with the term, what that means is right now the Fed is buying a ton of bonds. They've been buying bonds every month to help with liquidity issues and kind of keep the bond market afloat, basically. You know, some might suggest that there aren't really any cracks in that market to speak of, but that's kind of the idea of what's going on there. And so the idea of this tapering is that they're talking about slowing down their purchases. So still buying, but not buying as much. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. You know, do you think the Fed will start to slow down how many bonds they're buying on a monthly basis? Or do you think they're going to keep kicking that can and use some of the current world events to kind of lean on and keep purchasing? Let me know what you think. Love to hear your thoughts on the topic, and try and get those in before tomorrow, before we actually hear from Fed Chair Powell himself. So again, join us next week. We're going to have so much to cover, but I want to jump into the question of the week as well. which is what to consider when getting married. It's summertime. I've already gone to a couple of weddings. I've got more to come. So I'm sure everybody else is in the same boat. It's just like full on wedding season here. And I figured it would be a very good topic to touch on as we kind of gear up for the end of summer. So there's a couple of things that I want to kind of bring to your attention. If you are getting ready to get married, I would say that you want to really discuss finance before you move down that road. And I think the first thing to maybe really spend some time on is just discussing goals in general. And I will preface this by saying I'm not married, so bear with me a little bit, but I've seen plenty of conversations. I think I have enough experience to give some guidance in this area. So first is discuss goals. You know, a lot of times we'll run into families that are newlywed or maybe just starting to have these conversations when they meet us, believe it or not. And one member has a completely different vision of what retirement or their life in general looks like, especially financially, than the other. So it's not to say you can't work through those things, but the more of those conversations you have prior to marriage, hopefully the better you can be on the same track and the better you can be about helping each other to kind of find the middle ground or work towards any differences that you guys have. Second is taking inventory of assets and debts and all the above. You know, it is important. It may seem strange, but it is important to have at least some idea of, you know, what your fiance's financial picture may look like, and also get a sense of what their history has been like and how, you know, how that has shaped their, I guess, financial well-being or not. A lot of times we'll run into clients that got married and didn't know that the spouse had a ton of debt. Doesn't mean that's a reason not to get married, but you may want to know that going into it. And again, that may help you help your spouse to find ways to kind of prepare or work through those challenges that they've had in the past. Third is to think about how you feel about money in general. You know, what was your upbringing with money? What does money mean to you? What does that provide for you? Do you see it as a tool? Do you see it as a weapon? You know, really understanding just feelings and thoughts around money and how each of you kind of view that in your lives is very important. And the last thing, this is kind of more nuanced, but I do want to touch on it, is thinking a little bit about what other aspects or what other assets the spouse may have. If there's a business or something like that, you know, maybe important to kind of factor this in. Some folks may ask for prenups, and so it's important to kind of understand what that means and why they may be asking before you're kind of surprised. And, you know, obviously some emotions kind of come into play there. And also thinking about not just how things look prior to the marriage, but what you're going to do when you start commingling funds. How do you create some sort of, you know, joint venture towards your finances, while also maybe keeping some separate pieces as well, so that you can still enjoy things and not feel like you're always having to check in. I'll give you a good example. A lot of our clients may use a joint account for most of their inflows and outflows, but maybe peel off a small monthly amount to their personal banks so that every month they can spend or not spend that completely freely. They don't feel like they need to check in. It is totally, you know, used or meant to be spent as each spouse sees fit. So there's a lot to consider there, but hopefully these kind of 5 pieces really help. And, you know, again, I thought this was really timely as we move into summer. So thanks for joining us here this week. Get ready. Next week, we have so much to cover on the market front. We got, again, tons of jobs data coming out. We've got the Fed talking tomorrow. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. And then we also got personal income and spending, which has been a huge driver for the markets as we kind of get to this phase. So join us next Thursday, 3 p.m. Until then, we will see you, and let us know what you think the Fed's going to say tomorrow at Jackson Hole.